Welcome back to our JS Performance Shop. Today we're talking about my top 5 pros and cons of doing a budget LS swap like this into your classic car compared to keeping, let's say, your small block Chevy or whatever came into it. Let's go ahead and take a look. Most of this is going to pertain to keeping, let's say, a small block or a big block Chevy into something like this. So this is my 72 GMC C10 or C1500. Has a 5.3 liter of an 04 Silverado in it. Did everything on a budget. Lots of stuff off Amazon, eBay, etc. Mostly off Amazon. Links will be in the description if anything I talk about. Also check out my other videos because I have some videos on especially the budget LS stuff. There's pretty good information in there. So first pro on our list is LS swap parts. A lot easier to find than, let's say, a Coyote swap. I don't even know what. Let's say 2JZ, whatever you're swapping. LS swaps are super common. They're the new small block Chevy. Well, they are a small block Chevy. It's a different generation, but they're the new small block Chevy of the world. You can get anything you need, except for super custom weird swaps. But if you're swapping a classic like this, which is I think most of my viewers are after, all this stuff I bought off of Amazon or eBay, including trans cross members, motor mounts, etc. You can get it all. Headers are a big one. You don't have to custom make stuff. So that's the first pro on our list, is the parts for an LS swap. Easy to obtain, easy to find. Check out Amazon and eBay if you're on a budget. Second pro on our list, ease of starting. This truck's been sitting here for almost a week. I have not touched it, haven't touched a thing. Fires right up, idles, and it's almost -10 outside Celsius. Can't complain. No, I'm not gonna get some hate on that. A lot of guys are gonna say, oh, carburetor starts easy, no problem. I can see my breath right now. It is literally, I think, -9, 10 Celsius. I would love to see your truck or car sit there for a week. You hop in it with a carburetor and just turn the key and it just immediately starts and idle. The odds are you're gonna be giving her a couple pumps, waiting for the choke, screwing around. If you're like me, my wife didn't grow up with a carburetor. She has no flipping clue how to get a carburetor to start in the cold. This, hop in it, turn the key, no problem, it's running. Always starts, always idles, no screwing around. You can just hop in it and enjoy it like it's a 04 Silverado, because that's what it thinks it is. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, check out my other videos. I have some LS swap videos, I have videos on this build. And like, share, comment, subscribe, it really helps me out. And let's get back to the action. Okay, the third pro on our list. Less leaks. Now, I get it, it's an old truck, things are gonna leak, most people don't care. But actually, when you finally do something like this, it's actually kind of nice not to have to worry about, oh, my oil pan's leaking, or oh, my valve cover's leaking, or I got coolant leaking out of my intake manifold, this, that. LS uses obviously a newer style gasket, like almost all, well, I think pretty much all modern cars, mostly silicone based, some have like a crush sleeve. A lot of them are reusable. There's guys that reuse head gaskets. I resealed this whole motor with like a $150 Amazon gasket set, and I've had no issues, and that's including the head gaskets. You really can't complain, really can't complain. Meanwhile, you're buying, let's say, a $300-400 Felpro kit for your small block or big block Chevy, and it leaks like a sieve, because that's the way they are, sadly. As much as I love them too, I love them, but it's the way they are. Fourth pro on our list. This one's gonna be also kind of controversial. Maybe you guys won't agree with me. It's also gonna be kind of area based. Used to be back in the day, the small block, big block Chevs, just Chev in general, and even to a certain extent General Motors was always known about their interchangeability, ease to find parts. You could walk into any parts store, get a fuel pump, or you could get a valve cover gasket, whatever it may be. Well, those days are slowly dying, guys. I'm sorry to say. I think the last Gen 1 small block came out in the pickups in 2001, maybe 2. They're 20 plus years old at least, right? Parts are just slowly starting to dwindle out their supply, or their stock, let's say. They're not stocking everything, you gotta order it in, yada yada. Well, LS's, they're still around. These trucks are still on the road. Yes, there's still Gen 1 small blocks on the road, but not quite as near as much. So I can walk in any parts store right now and go, hey, I need a water pump, 04 Silverado, have it. Hey, I need a valve cover gas, have it. Hey, I need a map sensor, 04 Silverado, have it. I would like to see you walk in a parts store these days and try to get an HEI distributor. There's a chance they may have them, especially if they're kind of in the performance side, but if they're just a general parts store, most likely they're not gonna have an HEI distributor. Probably, if you're lucky, they might have a carburetor. It's getting harder to find. And even the parts you do get, they're pretty bad quality now. The same problem here though, that's just across the board. I will admit small block Chevy is better with their interchangeability, of course, just because they were more basic. I mean, there's some parts of this that, because this is Silverado motor, there is some parts of this that will interchange with, like, let's say a Camaro or Corvette, but let's just say like the water pumps are all different, but most parts stores, if you're using let's say a pickup one, it's pretty common for swaps. They're most likely gonna have it. So that was number 4, parts supply issues. I'm gonna say LS takes the cake on this one, especially going into the future. And our 5th pro, and some guys will say the most important pro, is the wow factor. Not so much on this truck. This thing's 2 different colors, kind of a ratty POS, you could say. Something, it's just a hot rod. But if you're a guy that goes to car shows or Cars and Coffee and you want to open the hood and people go, what is this? LS. When you pop the hood on your classic car, and it's even just got a 5.3 truck motor, where you got it done up nicely, let's say with kind of like mine with the Vortec cover, or you got an LS1 intake and it looks all cool. People say, wow, is what it is. People can disagree. I mean, hey, I'm still a fan of small block, big block sheds. When a guy opens up hood on a 69 Camaro and it's got a 427 in it, big block, that's also a wow factor. Like, it goes both ways, but a lot of people will argue. I'm willing to bet a big majority of people, especially in the car show scene, are putting LS in to have some wow factor to themselves. So that's our 5th pro. Let's head into our cons. Our first con of the LS swap is the sound. Now, this is also kind of a controversial one. But I'm going to say the vast majority of people will say that a small block, or especially a big block Chev, especially if it's cammed, even compared to a cammed LS, they sound better. They do have the old school vibe, especially in a classic car. They kind of got the thump, 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 thump. It's a different firing order, guys. It is what it is. Some guys like the sound of the LS. I actually don't mind this one. If you're wondering, this one's got stainless Amazon long tube headers, like a 4 or 5 inch bullet muffler, dual exhaust, dumped right before the axle. It's loud. It shrieks under throttle. It's pretty much a direct copy of David Freiberger's muscle truck exhaust. If you know that truck, it has an LS in it. LS6, I think. I don't have that kind of money, but hey. But most people will say that a Gen 1 small block or a big block Chevy, or pretty much any old vehicle, they just sound good. They got that, and it's got that classic vibe. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And the second con on our list is all the work of swapping in the LS. Now, of course, this is all geared towards budget. So most guys, I'm assuming if you're on a budget, you're going to do this kind of work yourself. You can always pay someone to do it, and then this con isn't really a big deal for you. But there is a lot of work. It's extra work compared to, let's say, swapping from this was originally a 6-cylinder truck, but someone already swapped in a small block when I had gotten it. Let's say if I had put in a 454 or a 396 or something, there's work to that. Some motor mounts, obviously exhaust, stuff like that. You got added work with the LS. You got to run some kind of wiring harness. You got to mount a PCM. You got to figure out a transmission or what you're doing with the transmission. The exhaust is different. There is extra work. I will admit, if you're doing something like this 67, 72 style, or Camaro or Chevelle, or basically any muscle car, there's solutions for everything. They're mostly bolt in. For real, they're mostly bolt in. This was all bolt in. Yeah, this was all bolt in. I just had to kind of custom order a drive shaft. But that's pretty typical. You could get that going from a big block Chev to like a Turbo 400 from a 350. You guys know what I mean. So there is more work swapping in an LS compared to swapping into, let's say, a small block to a big block, is what it is. And another controversial one, the third con on our list, is the looks. Some people enjoy this look. You got exposed wiring, you got exposed coil packs. There is solutions to all that. Got big plastic intake. Myself, I think it kind of brings the wow factor, like, oh, that's a modern engine. But I will admit, a properly dressed up small block, or especially a big block Chev, they do look badass. They really do. When you pop the hood open and you got something like these MT valve covers on a big block Chevy, all polished, with polished intake, maybe a Holley double pumper carb, they do look pretty badass. And I, for one, do think they do look better underneath the hood. I'm sorry. That's why it's kind of controversial. Some guys will disagree with me, but I do kind of think the LS is a little bit ugly. Sorry. And the fourth con on our list is the power band. LSs are kind of known, even these truck motors, kind of known to be like a higher RPM power band, kind of more horsepowery. They want to rev. Well, excluding a big block Chevy, because obviously a big block Chevy is all about torque. Definitely excluding if you're getting into BOP stuff, Buick, Oldsmobile, Pontiac, that is all torque. But that's kind of off topic. But if you're comparing a small block, let's say you're comparing a small block Chevy 350 compared to a 5.3 truck motor, which is probably going to be the most easiest to find. Yes, there's a 6-liter. It's a little bit bigger. I think it's 377 cubic inches. These are like a 320. Some guys call them a 327. They're not a 327. They're like a 325, I believe, a 324 or something like that. The direct comparison, in my opinion, is going to be a 350 small block Chevy. In my opinion, even the smaller 350s are going to have a lower power band, usually more torquey. That also kind of comes a little bit with the cubic inches and just the design. These got big intake runners. They got big plenums. They just, in their internal design, it was meant to rev, higher RPM. Like, they still got plenty of torque. I think on book they got more than a small block. The small block low end torque, I think, is always going to feel better. It just kind of is what it is. And the fifth, and arguably the biggest con, is tuning. Small block Chevy with a carburetor, that's all you need, buddy. That's all you really need. Carburetors are like that, right? They just got screws. Half the time you don't even need a damn screwdriver. Nothing. Just use your fingers. Sad to say, unless you're putting a carburetor on an LS, and even then you still need something to run the ignition, you're going to be doing some kind of tuning somehow, or you're going to have some kind of box doing something. It just comes with the territory. Now, again, this is all geared towards budget. Yes, you can get a self-tuning EFI like Holley, Aces. There's a bunch, right? MSD had one at 1.0, they still make it. In my opinion, that's on budget. Maybe exempting the Aces, they are on the cheaper side, kind of heading towards budget. But if you're talking Holley or any of the other options, they're expensive. They're really expensive. So what I opted to do with this one, it's literally using the cheapest Amazon harness. It's using an 01, 0411 PCM. It's as basic as I could get it, using a stock PCM. It is a stock motor, it's not cammed. If I ever do cam it, it will need tuning. But again, it comes with the territory. What I did is I bought HP tuners and I shot off VATs and made some other couple little tweaks for the swap. You can find all this information online. I think pretty soon I'm actually gonna make a video about what I did just to do a stock swap, because that's, pretty common. Guys want to do that. It just comes with the territory. You can obviously pay a tuner. They can do all the VATs, delete, and all that, and it'll run good. I'll tell you, it'll run good. But it's an extra cost. It's, I think most tuners are going to be upwards of, let's just say on the very cheap end, $300-$400. All the way up to whatever you want. The sky's the limit. It kind of is what it is. I already had HP tuners for a different project, so that's why I used it. I just had to buy credits and make the changes. Did some research, made the changes. But I will admit, a carburetor in this aspect, way cheaper. Except for maybe if you have to buy the carburetor. Let's say you're swapping in something and, I'm just going to slap a carburetor. Well, at that point, if you have to go buy a brand new carburetor and you have to do a bunch of screwing around, I think at that point, especially if you're putting an LS and you're like, well, I'm just going to slap a carburetor on it, it's easy. Well, you got to get a box to run the ignition. You got to buy a carburetor. I mean, if you got a carburetor, go at it, man. Go at it. But if you have to buy one and stuff, at that point, I think you're better off finding something, especially if you have the room, like a truck intake and one of these simple LS swap harnesses. Now, the big question that's probably on all your guys' minds, would I do this LS swap again? And I'm actually going to say yes. This truck, when I got it, had a small block in it that I think was healthy, but it had a bunch of vacuum leaks. The carburetor was on it was a piece of junk. I already had this 5.3. I had it sitting on an engine stand for a prior project that never happened. This, to me, made sense. I think by the time I got that other small block running, diagnosed a bunch of stuff. Let's say it needed a carburetor. I know it needed a carburetor and a distributor. And, by the time you add it all up, I think I'm about the same, maybe a little bit more. And I got EFI. I just hop in it, it runs. So yes, if I was going to do this all over again, I would still swapping this 5.3 liter. It was well worth the time and investment. And anyone can drive this thing. My wife hops in it. She can turn the key and drive away, and I don't have to worry about her stranded with the carburetor. She doesn't know herself how carburetor works or what to do. So that part is nice. So anyways, guys, let's conclude our little episode of JS Performance Shop here. If you really like what you see here, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Check out my other videos here for more or less swap information. Or if you're interested in builds like this 71 GMC or a 92 step-side K1500 where I just got a bunch of parts for, check out these builds here. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate all you guys. I'll see you in the next one.